Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com, and we're here today at the Cleveland Playhouse, and we're here today with Associate Artistic Director Laura Kepley. Thank you so much for meeting with us, Laura.
Hi, Thomas. Great to talk with you.
Hey, it's a very exciting time. We're coming around to FusionFest once again. This is such an unbelievable program. I don't know if people realize the extent. Now, you helped put this together,
amazing.
Didn't you?
I did, with Michael Bloom and the rest of our staff, really thinking about bringing in the best national acts, but then also showcasing the best local homemade acts for FusionFest.
You've got so much going on. It's going to be 30 performances over 10 days.
Extraordinary. There'll be over 90 people on stage. So performers alone, 90 people.
Not all at once, but over the course of the 10 days.
Not all at once, right.
That's incredible.
Right.
It kind of, one of the keystones here is this legacy of light that's at the Drury Theater, about these two women in their 40s, scientists, but very different times of history.
Yes, yes. This is a new play by Karen Zacharias, and we're thrilled to have her here. The play takes two scientists who are both working on their career, important discoveries, and also about to have children. These two scientists are separated by 300 years. One is living in the Age of Enlightenment, and she has a wonderful relationship with her lover Voltaire. And then the other is living in our current day.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So
we get to see how much things have changed and how much things haven't
really changed,
right.
Especially for women.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the themes really that you try to strive with FusionFest is for multidisciplinary, multi-arts.
Yes.
So you have a lot of artists who are dealing with more than really one genre when they're performing. Stu and the Negro Problem. This is interesting because it was a band originally, but really they've taken it into some really interesting directions, haven't they?
Stu defines fusion.
Yeah.
When we were thinking about who to bring in, he defies a genre,
right.
Because he does everything. He's a musician, he's a singer, he's an artist, he's a storyteller, and he, with his band, create this rock and roll collage, if you will.
Right, right.
So it'll be an evening like you've never seen before. It's really exciting. He and his partner and his band will be telling the story about how this sort of unlikely indie musician became a Broadway star.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah,
and to hear it told through music and text, and again, multidisciplinary.
Right.
Marigold Wars, I'm really looking forward to this one. Robin Van Leer, who's well known for Parade the Circle. She's been the director of that since the very beginning. She's a performance artist. We presented her at our Performance Art Festival.
Right.
And she's got a whole crew of local folks on this. It sounds really interesting.
She does. Again, we're so happy to have this local treasure, Robin Van Leer, here putting this together. She has gathered a team together for Marigold Wars, which is a story about the ravages of war and how we heal and recover from war. But she's gathered together 22 different local artists.
Right.
So it's a fusion of sculpture, art, dance, theater,
puppetry,
and all, puppetry, of course,
with
puppetry,
her, yeah.
And all original music.
It's
so
awesome.
Many artists involved.
That's going to be great. In this show, Pollock, you've got a number of these sort of one-person shows, right, that are coming to FusionFest?
We have a good balance this year between one-person shows and then larger pieces.
Mm-hmm.
The Pollock show, both Michael and I were struck with how extraordinary this was, because you have one man being the genius, Jackson Pollock, and he on stage creates action paintings. So it is that fusion of storytelling, theater, and the actual visual art being made.
And live performance. This was really that crossover. We always saw it as performance art because he was creating the work in performance, and people always think of that as they think of, and they look at his paintings. You can't separate them.
Yeah, and there's a really amazing cutting-edge use of video projections in this.
Wow.
So not only is he making his action painting, it's being projected and the piece is coming together for you up above as well.
That is so awesome. How about Shaheed? The Dream and Death of Benazir Bhutto. This sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, Shaheed is a beautiful, haunting, and moving piece about Benazir Bhutto, who was assassinated in 2007.
Right.
Now, the artist who put this together, Anna Kaja, she was here a few years ago performing in Cleveland Playhouses around the world in 80 days.
Oh, I remember
that. At that point, many people, she was the only woman in the show,
exactly.
so you'll remember her. But at that point, Michael said to her, "What are you working on?" And she told about this piece. Now, Shaheed means witness.
Wow.
So the piece is about 8 different monologues, 8 different people who were witness to this extraordinary moment in history.
And this moment really transformed the country, transformed a region. It could have gone such a different direction if she had been alive. So quite an important historical piece. The Real Americans, Dan Hoyle, another one-man show. This sounds great because he took like 100 days and lived in what we call Sarah Palin country,
right?
Among the quote real Americans,
right?
And now he's going to bring it back to us here in Cleveland, right?
He is. So he got in his van, he drove across the country, talked to people, and then he created the show out of their real words.
Yes.
So he plays multiple characters in this intercut, sort of verbatim docudrama piece.
That's got to be hilarious.
He's an
I can just
amazing
imagine.
performer.
Yeah.
Really amazing performer.
Well, we'll see how that goes. That should be fun. Of course, you've got new play readings at Karamu House and here as well. You got some Langston Hughes work. Local Explosion. Talk about this, because again, this is a great opportunity for people. They had applied for these sort of little mini grants to produce some local work.
Right. So this was brand new this year, Local Explosion.
Yeah.
And we were really encouraging local artists to work with people outside of their field.
Yeah.
So the only stipulation was that they had to create, between 10 and 15 minutes, or 10 minutes and 30 minutes of a piece that puts 2 different kinds of artists together. So we have a printmaker, Bellamy Prints, working with playwright Eric Schmiedel for one of our pieces. We have a choreographer, Lisa Locke, working with a hat designer, Ron Shelton.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
And Lisa is amazing if you've ever seen her perform. She is one of Cleveland's real treasures.
Right? And then our last piece brings together, like you said, the poetry of Langston Hughes with a dancer, singer, J.R. Pollock, and his company doing Genius Child.
And I love what you were saying when you put out the call for this. You said, think so far outside the box you can't even see the box. Or something,
right.
Like, we really are serious about this. You are to be congratulated, really. Yourself, Michael Bloom, the whole organization. You're obviously in transition here. This is the last year here in this space. We're going to miss this beautiful lobby that we're in and the architecture here. But of course, it makes the most sense for the Playhouse to make this move down to Playhouse Square, saving a ton of money. And being able to leverage your resources. But this will be a special year for many people, and a special FusionFest, because it will be the last time they'll be in some of these theaters here.
Yeah, and indeed, and I know this theater means a lot to so many people.
Yeah.
We're really encouraging on April 23rd that people come and stay the day. They can spend the whole day. If you're very adventurous, you could come see 5 new works, going from about 1 o'clock in the afternoon till about 11:30 at night. So we hope people will come on down and spend the day.
And the kids can come that day and they get to pretend they're Jackson Pollock and play with the paint. And
we'll have activities set up, interactive activities set up in the lobby. We'll be making action paintings. We'll be doing some printmaking, designing hats.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun day.
I'm going to be there for the hat piece. That sounds great.
You've got your
perfect
hats.
for me.
You've got your good hats.
Laura, thanks so much for taking time to talk with us. Best of luck with this.
It was a pleasure.
Nice to talk.
Great, thank you.
Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Have a great week in Cool Cleveland.